government officials insist that this is an isolated incident.
Warning: the following program contains explicit language and mature content. It is not meant for the easily offended. So if you are an emotional pussy, please refrain from listening. Thank you and enjoy.
Welcome back. Another edition of the Buzz Podcast. Your boy Cujo. Oh man, making it through another day, another week, another wake up, which is always a blessing. I'm gonna feel very spiritual today. Just talking with our guest that you see here. She goes by the name of Marissa. She's a so you have a plethora of titles. So you're a dietitian, well-being coach, energy healing mom, alternative and holistic health services, a holistic health coach. What am I missing? Anything?
Yeah.
Am I missing anything else?
Well, just recently started a meditation channel on YouTube. So guided meditation, creating some of those. And recently, as of earlier this year, studying herbalism.
Herbalism. Is that like a pot maker, or what is that? What does that mean?
So studying the benefits of plants,
Okay.
whether it's herbs, any kind of plants at all, learning their health benefits. And also this includes a holistic approach because they heal us. They have the ability to heal us physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And so with that, it's working with the plants in a different types of ways, creating medicines to get over an illness, for example, connecting with them spiritually. So there's so many ways to work with plants. That's one thing that I'm realizing, and that's what makes them holistic, really. Yeah.
Okay. So what? So I'm gonna ask you a question
Sure.
while you're answering this question. I'm gonna move with the camera. I'm gonna mess with the camera a bit because you seem like the way it's situated, it's cutting you off. All you see is like this part of your head.
My forehead.
Yeah. So I don't want people to think all you are is a forehead. So I'll be moving the camera around a little bit. But being what is holistic medicine like? Well, I've never understood
Yeah.
what exactly is that?
Yeah, that's such a good question. And to me, what I've seen before I get to like what I describe and what I feel is holistic medicine and holistic health. There's so much information out there, misinformation, or whether it's like propaganda, like all
Yeah.
kinds of fear tactics, fear mongering that can this is how I perceive it years ago, as well as patients and people that I work with. So they'll either see it as like strictly just eating organic, pure organic food, not taking any kind of medications, purely just seeing holistic in terms of their food and what they're taking. Or if it's for treating an illness, whether it's a physical or mental, for example, illness, through just alternative medicines, which, for example, would be like acupuncture or massage or energy healing, which is in a sense holistic. But for some people, like there's also Western medicine too. Western medicine can fit in with traditional medicine. And so in holistic, to me, just of the many years that I've been working as a holistic health coach and learning more about what that means to me, it really just, to keep it simple, it's taking a whole person approach to our health. And that's going to include physically, what we're eating, how we're moving our bodies, what we're listening to, our relationships, financial well-being, healing any kind of trauma, mental health, emotional health, how we deal with our emotions, how we think, how our thoughts and our beliefs affect us on an overall day-to-day impact and with those around us, and how they impact our actions.
Okay.
It's also includes our spirituality. So do we have a connection to ourselves, to our spirit, our soul within, to a higher power, to even Mother Earth, even if we're not quote unquote religious or have a higher power? Is there a connection to the Mother Earth, to the plants, to the animals, the elements? And all of that to me means taking like a holistic approach to the health. So when I'm working with someone, for example, it's really kind of getting to know where they're at as a whole person.
Okay.
What are they like physically? Getting a full assessment on that. How are they mentally? And like I said, emotionally, overall. Because, of course, this is going to, move in waves,
Right.
obviously. And spiritually. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like Bruce Lee said, right? Be like water.
Yeah.
Because that's the way.
The flow.
That's the
yeah.
way it is, right? So it basically for some of us that are uneducated, I guess you could say, or just ignorant, or just whatever. It sounds like a hippie life, right?
Yeah.
Is
could be
that
another
basically
stigma.
what it is, or
Yeah.
with that when you hear somebody put it like that, since you said it's a stigma, is there what is there a big difference between it? Is there what would be the biggest difference between hippie life and what you're talking about?
So that's a good question. So for you, for example, what is quote unquote hippie life?
Well, so for traditionally, your regular hippie is somebody who just believes on living off the land, somebody who creates their own, even clothing and just about anything that they use is coming off of
Like vegan, or
right, a
from that
vegan,
animal.
and don't kill spiders because they have families, and fucking watch the butterflies because they illuminate the world, and just trippy, your trippy 80s. We got to save water for the world, so we're going to shower every 3 weeks, or
Yeah.
or we don't use anything that involves any kind of chemical. That's the traditional hippie lifestyle or outlook, I should say.
Okay.
And a lot of weed.
That too. Yeah.
And some acid sometimes.
Yeah.
And now I guess now it's ayahuasca. Now is
That's
the
true.
new thing.
That's
Yeah.
what you hear a lot about. Yeah. If you're
Yeah.
in like some of the spiritual spaces and seeing, retreats and things like that, kind of abusing that, I think, for also, it's because there's a mix too, right? You have some of those people that are maybe trying to make money off of it, or maybe haven't been working with it in a respected way. Maybe they weren't taught by the elders or taught and studied it. And so some people who take on those kind of ceremonies kind of bring that label to themselves. I'm a medicine person, I'm a shaman, or whatever,
yeah.
etc. But also at the same time, there's those that don't give themselves a label, and they share that medicine in very sacred spaces in respect for the lineage and for the medicine.
Right.
And so there's a total difference there, right? So if anyone's out there looking to get into any kind of medicine ceremonies, I always encourage them to make sure they do their homework, who they are going to be doing any kind of ceremony like that with. So that way, that's going to determine, I guess, the experience too, I feel like.
Right. So when getting into this holistic approach, has this been like the way you've been your whole life, or is this like did something happen to trigger the holistic approach? Was it during the pandemic? Like what happened?
Oh gosh. Okay. Yes. It's a kind of let's see where it takes me. Because it's a long experiences. No, absolutely not. So as a registered dietitian, when you're going into the university, there is only a certain information that you're taught, just like in the schools, right? We have a certain curriculum in all the schools. And so you're taught a certain way. And really, you're kind of taught to think and believe a certain way.
Yeah.
And that gives us as parents that little flexibility to teach differently, unless, we're there with them seeing what they're learning, or you homeschool, right? But so that being said, I got into dietetics because I have a whole history of disordered eating.
Okay.
As a young girl, which started probably in my young adolescence, maybe 10 or 11 or so, and I just started noticing that my body looked a little bit bigger than some other girls, especially in swimsuits, and just kind of questioning that. My sister was always on taking these off the counter fat loss supplements and things like that, and I was thinking, oh, let me try some of those too. Not even really thinking, just
just
just do it. Yeah, which led to me not eating throughout the whole day, even just not eating anything. So kind of also went into that starvation mode of not eating or eating in secrecy.
Right.
All the way through middle school, that also happened, and to high school, where I even came into purging too, where I even got to the point there was some purging. I was taking my sister's, what did you used to call those pills? The Xenadrin. If you remember the Xenadrin.
Okay.
Is that what it was called back then? I don't know.
Yeah,
It was one of
there's
those.
so many different.
Yeah,
so many out
there's
there.
so many out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it comes back to like that message, the message that we are shown, especially as women or girls, the idol, right? The models,
Right.
the actors, the actresses, the magazines, et cetera, how you should quote unquote look
Right.
in order to be accepted, right? And so I fell into that trap too. I fell into that trap and got deep into it and disordered my whole relationship with food and my body image, obviously. And so after I graduated, my dad got sick with lung cancer, and he had to go to NDM Anderson to get a lot of his treatment. So he was gone for a while. And when he returned, he was totally unrecognizable. His bones. I remember him coming down from the elevator and just holding him and greeting him home, and just feeling like the bones on his back and like just very brittle and frail.
Right.
And so it was kind of around that time where I was studying like what I could do, just finding stuff at that time. I think the internet like was barely coming on, like looking up stuff of what I could help him with while it was the summer. We were on summer break. It was my senior year. And so I was just kind of thinking about, okay, what could we do to nourish him back to health, right? So just was researching that. And then it kind of came to me, oh, maybe I can go to school to become a nutritionist. I didn't know what that was. I at first wanted to become like a choir teacher and go into music and choir because I love singing.
Big difference. Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit of a difference.
Yeah. But then I also thought, okay, well, I'm going to do this for my dad. I can help other people, but maybe it can help me with my issues, right, with food and everything.
Right.
And so got into dietetics school, got into my internship and studies at NMSU, and that just kind of added more fuel to the fire. I just had more in terms of like information about, your calories, your macros and metabolism and this and that, and everything that we're taught about health. It revolves mostly around your weight, your BMI, what you eat, and your movement. That's what we're taught.
Yeah,
right?
that BMI's bullshit. Though.
Yeah.
God, that's so horrible.
Yeah, it is, but we're not taught that.
Right.
Which is crazy because there's just so much out there that we're not taught, right? And so it's only what they quote unquote the bigger billionaires, the corporations, the evil forces, what they want us to believe.
Right.
And so this keeps us in a very closed box, very closed minded. And so we're trained, right? That's what we're trained. We're trained kind of like robots is how I see it, to get that grade, see health a certain way that
Right.
there's nothing else beyond it, not their mental, their emotional, their spiritual health, where they're coming from, whether it's like their ethnic background or if they're having any kind of financial insecurities or food insecurities. Like we're not taught anything about that really.
Right.
Like I said, it's just how you eat, your movement, your weight, your BMI, your labs. And so that pretty much stuck with me throughout all my years. I worked in the medical field as a diabetes specialist and a diabetes educator, and did a lot of things in the community. I also worked just with different various populations. So I love that. I loved getting out in the community. I loved doing all these kinds of health fairs. So I knew I enjoyed that. And then got another job at Beaumont, worked with the beneficiaries, the veterans, and just everybody that had health care through the government.
Right.
And lasted there several years, 6 years or so, but knew there was a time coming where I just felt kind of closed off there, where I wasn't able to, I guess, expand my mind, right, with things. So then I got into health coaching, and I did that virtually from home. And there is where I was more introduced to taking a holistic approach to health. And so I started learning about more how our mental health impacts our physical and well-being, our emotional, our spiritual. I did a course on it, a certification, and got really more in depth into what that means. And then I started looking at myself and how I could apply that to myself and to my family. Where did I need healing? What could I do for myself to help me feel better? Because there's always like a feeling of quote unquote missing something.
Yeah.
And so as I got deeper and deeper on this journey, that's when I just started realizing how these different parts of our being, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and physical, how they have impacted me so much, how I've healed, and how I feel today. So I can kind of just speak my own personal experience and how I help my clients, how I try to integrate that. And this is going to look different for everybody.
Yeah.
That approach. But that's where it's taken me now as a mom. That's a long story short.
No, that's good because I mean that's a lot of stuff that you covered. One of the things that you had said, that's where you are mentally and you got to heal. With the day and age that we have now, I know, when you're talking about kids, it's now that we have this wonderful tool that we never used correctly in the palm of our hands. Now you have the fact that it's been brought up, certain phones or certain programs listen so that way they could better tailor to your experience. A lot of the times when you're hearing about, still with that old mindset of, what perfection is nowadays as far as for what we should be looking for, right? Now we have that being bombarded on us, not only through the television, through print. Now we have that on our hands, in the palm of our hands, every time we bring up the freaking phone or whatever.
It's amplified.
Whatever we're looking for, like how with all that going on, like how can we avoid certain how can we start to heal to avoid that negativity without actually trying to suppress that so much? Because there are some good things about it, but there's a lot of bad, a lot of negative.
Yes, there is a lot. It does a lot of damage, and I see a lot of it, especially in the young women, the young adolescents. A lot of my patients, I've had a lot of patients that have developed eating disorders, especially around COVID time, because most of the time they were on their phones, they were on social media, and I've had a lot of those, and not just young adolescents, but a lot of women.
Right.
And so, you're right. Like there is this, all these different types of apps and social media and filters.
Those are the worst.
So it's really, how can I say, it's distorting how we perceive ourselves. Right. So you have a certain belief, a certain way of thinking of how you see yourself, whether that's physically or within, your shadows or dark parts, meaning like things maybe you don't quite like about yourself.
Right.
And then it's amplified with these messages that, like I call them, the dark forces, like the billionaires, like the
Kardashians.
Evil.
The Kardashians.
Exactly. That's trying to put this programming in our brain. This is how I visualize it. It's like a programming in our brain to saying like, these are distractions here. Right. These are distractions from you, from not being able to think otherwise, to think freely, to think and believe from your own place. And instead, we're going to put these messages in front of you so you can start thinking and feeling this way.
Right.
And you won't be able to think about anything else or believe about anything else, which I feel is not only is it a distraction, but it prevents us from taking a look at the outside world and what's happening.
Right.
Genocide, this, crazy things that are happening in politics, like wars, things, capitalism, like all the things that these billionaires are doing to control the government, to control what we do. And we sing that here in El Paso when they're going to set up these systems, right, for the AI, and that's going to consume a lot of our water output. So there's just a lot of, I feel like these messages are placed upon us to keep us focused here. Right. So we're not questioning what's happening outside of us. Yeah. And so when we're caught up in this trap of whether it's our body image and comparing ourselves to one another, that can be a lot of what that person focuses on. I've been there. I was there for years, at least up to my 30s. And that's when I was bodybuilding. That's when I was heavy in it. And so I finally had an awakening. And so I realized how much my mind was being impacted by all those messages and how other people are impacted by those messages and what they're seeing. So once you start to see something so much over and over and over again, and there's your algorithm, right? you just, it gets fed stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, and we lose like this other sense of who we actually are. Like you're
Right.
perfect just as you are, the creation that you are created from the divine, you know, from creator, whomever your higher power is. And so when we have those distractions, there's no other room to think about, can I accept myself as I am?
Yeah.
Or is there anything I can do to help myself be better in terms of like my way of thinking, you know, or seeing myself differently? So when I'm working with people and we're working on something like that, it's coming sometimes to a place of neutrality
Yeah.
and just little by little putting boundaries around people that they are following in social media.
Okay.
So doing like a cleanup, for example, of taking a look, who's serving you? That
Yeah.
whenever you're looking at these certain people, do they raise your energy, right? Or do they bring down your energy?
Right.
Are they leaving you feeling uplifted, or like you're comparing yourself, or feeling discouraged, or like a failure or disgusted, or whatever any of those dense, heavy energies are? And then if so, then let's leave them and find somebody else who makes you feel like you should be in, this is who you are, you know, to
Right.
feel confident, and that takes time, and to feel more accepting. And so that's kind of part of that work too, is we're just kind of doing a clutter, like a cleanse of their following. And again, slowly and gradually reprogramming our minds to helping us come to a truth of how we are authentically versus like, again, who we are being told like how to look and how to be, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Well, I mean, there is some exceptions to everything, right? Because there are some people that do have that do need to be told, even though, like you said, we should be accepted however we are. Well, there's some people, and now, you know, myself being one of them, that we are sitting a little heavier than we should be. So I mean, we do need to be not ridiculed, or not looking at, you know, or not being to the point where like, oh, I'm fine the way I am, because evidently you're not, right? Because we're not, because we all have some flaws to us.
Everybody.
So we need to find, you know, at times it's always good to have that check that says, hey, dude, there's certain people that say, you know, you're perfect the way you are, but you're not. We could always better ourselves, the way you said. What's one simple way, like when it comes to food and like diet, what's one easy step or something that you would recommend for somebody to change or to start doing to start bettering themselves?
That's a great question. And starting with that, I always like to make sure that whomever I'm giving that advice to, or a
Yeah.
patient or client or anyone, is I always wanted to make it feel not too complex. I wanted to make it feel simple and doable and realistic, right? And
Right.
so with that, because there's so many things that we see and read about nutrition these days, it's easy for one to get overwhelmed
Oh,
and
yeah.
mixed up with it and make changes, and all of a sudden can't keep up with it because there's just so much to make change on.
Right.
And so I always just say starting simple and small. So even if it's somebody who's used to eating out most days of the week,
Yeah.
can you choose at least 1 or 2 days to find a time to cook more from home?
Okay.
Can you, you're not used to eating fruits or vegetables.
Yeah.
Can you start by eating one, I don't know, X amount of days out of the week? So that little by little, as it becomes more of a habit, it
Right.
starts becoming a bit more familiar and more regular. And so it's working with those people to set a specific plan or like regimen so that
Yeah.
it is becoming sustainable and
Right.
consistent. Water, for example, I have people tell me I don't drink enough water, or they just start their day with coffee or any kind of energy drinks or anything like that. Start your morning with a small glass of water with lemon, you know.
Right.
So just making little small tweaks here and there gradually, because we make too many changes at once, it becomes overwhelming, and then
Yeah.
forget it.
Right.
And I see this in my coaching and who I'm working with, we take gradual small steps, because when you're able to focus your attention and energy to that one small thing, you build on it, you're successful, you're consistent, it becomes easier. And then there's space that opens. And then you have this space to be like, okay, this is really easy now.
Right.
I can do something else. What else do I want to do? And then you have that energy to focus on that other thing while you've already implanted that one thing.
Right.
And so it's little by little kind of going off your intuition, how you feel too. Energetically, we're like, this is getting really easy. I can add something else. Like if in weightlifting, for example, where you're like starting off small and then you notice you're getting stronger and stronger. You're like, okay, it still feels easy. So then you add a little bit more to make it
Right.
challenging, right? So it's kind of like a similar concept of that's how I encourage it, is just small, simple changes.
Okay. So I know, like, I've heard within weightlifting, if you're like to really for it to really stick, it's supposed to be if you're going through 90 days of it,
yeah.
then it becomes habit forming. Is that the same thing, like in everything else with us? Do you think, or is it just particular to just that because of muscle memory
Yeah.
and
That's a good question, right? Because there's even the 21 day or the 30 day. Like
Yeah.
I've read about that too. And, you know, I think we're all different, obviously. And so I've tried. So here's where like we all have our brains and this what we call like cognitive distortions, where maybe we're a person who thinks black and white,
Right.
or quote unquote good versus bad, or perfectionist, right? And so some of the thing with these like stick to it for 80 days or 90 days or whatever, right? Is if we have that cognitive distortion of black and white thinking or perfectionist and we go in with that mentality and then we say, I'm going to stick with it for this amount of days. And then, I don't know, 20 days goes and then you're off the wagon and you quote unquote fail and you can't get back on track with it. Right.
Right.
And so then you've lost your consistency and your hope and the faith and belief in yourself to keep going. So what I tell people is like, we're not trying to be, I could say, super strict,
Okay.
right? We still want to allow room for flexibility for life. It's also a matter of redefining what consistency means to you in that current season of life that you're in, being that whatever is going on outside your life,
Right.
Personal circumstances. And so finding a balance with that. So if it's like more days out of the week or more days out of the month where you're noticing yourself like that's consistency and you're noticing it's continuing, life happens, you can get back on track with it, right? That to me is like, it's become a habit. It's not about 100% every day, right? There's no
Right.
such thing as perfection, of that type of perfection.
Yeah.
But it's more of like creating that habit that's consistent for you in your current circumstances and your current season of life and adapting it as needed when change happens.
Okay. So when speaking as a dietitian, would you recommend, like, between the two choices of an actual food diet which could be either what was the big one, the Atkins, the keto, or
Yes.
the the
Fasting, intermittent fasting.
yeah, well, that's the second part I was going to get to, because the meat diet, carnivore diet.
Oh, yeah.
Would you rather recommend going through those kind of diets or through the actual fasting?
Can I say neither?
Why would you say neither?
So, again, and I'm just saying this, I guess, because of my own personal history, right? Of dieting and having a disordered relationship with food, and how it took me so much time to come to a neutral place of food and healing my relationship with food. And that being said, like having a more deeper connection with it, and that can be another episode or whatever. But that's what's helped me heal through it, is like, first of all, you want to make sure that it's sustainable,
Okay.
right? We want to make sure that these changes that we're making are sustainable, and how helpful are they for you, right? What if you have the time to actually do research, and because some of these people that create these diets, obviously, I feel like for some, maybe they are genuinely trying to help because it's helped them in their own personal experience, right? But then also maybe they're trying to make some money off of it. And so there's just so many different kinds of diets out there that it's important to also focus on how it makes you feel.
Okay.
So when people are asking me about these different kinds of diets and wish I tried this and try that, not just how you feel physically, but how you feel mentally and emotionally. So a lot of times when they're doing something like
'Cause
that.
'cause I know the keto, when you first start, you
Yeah.
get the
The
keto flu when you get the first those
Yeah.
first 4 or 5 days. Oh my god!
Yeah, and you
Yeah, you
are
feel like shit.
ketogenic.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's horrible. But after you get through the keto flu,
Mm-hmm.
I did feel a lot more. You felt better.
Mm-hmm.
You did feel.
What's better?
I didn't feel a lot more like I wasn't feeling mind fog as much anymore. You feel like your muscles,
Less
your body's a
inflammation.
little bit more in tune. You're able a little bit more like flexibility. Like you don't feel like generally if you're on the run and you grab a McDonald's after you eat that, you feel like crap. You know, you just feel like shit after you eat.
Processed, lots of
Yeah, it
chemicals.
bogs you down. I didn't feel as bad. I started feel. That's what I meant by feeling better. Like you wouldn't feel after you
Heavy.
ate, you wouldn't feel bogged down and dragging and
Yeah,
like
lethargic or just low energy.
you still had the same amount of energy that you had before. So that's one of the better things I had or that I enjoyed. The only thing that did suck, and as far as for me, like when I was doing the keto, I did it right at the beginning when it was barely starting up and it was barely the big talk that I was getting into, and anywhere you'd go, 'cause, I have the two kids I was telling you about. I was coaching football at the time. My daughters in ballet and dance and hip hop, so I'm always on the run.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any keto options back in the day, so you had to manipulate it to where it's like, oh well, we'll sell you a triple meat burger at Whataburger for like
Right.
$8.
And you're
But
taking off the buns
yeah,
and you're
yeah,
just eating
and
the
if you
patties.
wanted just this and that, it's gonna be
Yeah.
15. I was like, well, how?
Oh, yeah.
That makes no sense.
Yeah,
Well, they got to
exactly.
make their money somehow, right? So I get
exactly.
it, but I've been hearing a lot about this intermittent fasting. And one of the things, there was this other pod. What was the name? It's one of the more, I guess, famous pods right now. That's going on. There was a DOAC, the Diary of a CEO, with Stephen. I can't remember the kid's name, and he had this, I guess, nutritionist on who said that one of the things that he recommends is doing fasting because it's actually cause it helps with the cell manipulation, cell rejuvenation, and it helps with. He goes, it's in our everyday vocabulary if you actually think about
Yeah.
it.
Was it like an all day fasting or like a multiple day fasting?
Well, what he would say is that he'd start with the 18-6 rule, and then after a few weeks of doing that, then you could go on to a 24-hour fast or a 72-hour with just water, a water fast. And he says that if you think about it, we should all be fasting because we already have it in our dialect. The CEO in the podcast also, what are you talking about? So we'll think about it. What do you have in the morning the first thing that you eat in the morning? What is that called? It's breakfast. Break them up. You're breaking your fast because you're
Right.
sleeping at night. You're fasting at night. So you're already there. So now it's just a matter of, and then he goes where a lot of people are messing up because there's a certain, I can't remember what the name of the diet was. I think it was like called 18-6, where you were fasting for those 18 hours, but they said in those 6, you could eat whatever the hell you want. And that's kind of where people will be the gluttons that we are. And instead of having, let me get some 3 or 4 slices of pizza,
Yeah.
it was let me get 2 pizzas.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No,
you're
I'm
trying to
guilty
fit
of
everything
doing
in
that
there.
diet too. I'm guilty of
Yeah.
doing intermittent fasting back in my, I don't know when that was, in my 30s or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, though, again, everybody's body is different.
Right.
And their metabolism and their genetic makeup and everything, right? And yeah, so one quote unquote diet or one way of eating is not going to work for you. Is
For
like
everybody.
For everybody, right?
Right.
Yeah,
It's not universal.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So it's really, like I said, it's really important to just notice. Number one, asking yourself, why am I doing this? What am I trying to get out of it? Right? Is it better health in terms of your labs? You want to get control of your diabetes, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, right?
Right.
And that's just one aspect of looking at it. You also want to look into your stress management. You also want to look into your movement, your exercise, right? Your sleep, which all play a very vital impact on our health. And if we're doing a certain diet like intermittent fasting or keto or whatever, I think it's also important to notice how much of an impact it's having on your mental health and your emotional health. Because then people start doing them and then they're feeling like a failure because I can't keep up with them. Why? Because they were designed for control.
Right.
They were designed to keep you stuck in one way and to making yourself feel down and discouraged or like you're a failure. And you don't, you get really down about yourself. And then you end up just going in a circle and repeating that pattern, that cycle, which I've been through. Like you get off the diet, you get back on, you try again, off, and then you get back on. Like I've been on that roller coaster too. And so going from diet to diet to diet and looking for the one that's going to quote unquote work, that is not sustainable. It's working with someone, for example, like myself, that you're in alignment with in terms of what you want for your health and your wellness, and taking a more balanced, more sustainable, slow, gradual approach. So, and again, I kind of go back to that black and white thinking or perfectionist thinking, because we're trying to follow the plan, right? And then if you're not following the plan when it's family gatherings or it's a holiday or it's like that intermittent window that you break the window or whatever, that's where that all or nothing thinking can really mess us up, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't do it this way, so then there goes the whole day. Forget it, right? And then we stay on that pattern. So it's a mental pattern, and that's not helping for the long term, right? And so you have these thoughts that are not supportive, and then you have these emotions that you're feeling like guilty, or you're feeling shame, or you're just feeling like a failure or whatever, which impacts us as a whole. And so instead of like, all right, well, today wasn't ideal, maybe changing the language of how you're talking to yourself or your way of thinking. It wasn't ideal today, for whatever reason. Tomorrow I'll try again. Or later on today, I'll go for a walk. Or versus us shaming ourselves and being judgmental and critical of ourselves. But instead, taking a more compassionate, I talk a lot about this in my coaching and when I'm working with somebody, is it's taking a compassionate, not only a holistic approach, but a compassionate approach where we're trying to teach ourselves to be more kinder to ourselves and more either, if it's not like super positive, but at least neutral, like a neutral space of ourselves, and whenever that, in your own words, what that would be, just speaking it as it is also a helpful step to like slowly kind of work through that all or nothing mindset or perfectionist mindset that can kind of just keep us stuck, really.
Right. So are you a believer? I'm not sure if you ever talked about this on your podcast about this journey to holistic health and healing. Are you a believer of what you say affects your mental outlook as well as the way you live your life? As for example, like you said, a lot of us will say something, I'm so fat. I'm so fat. After a while, you start believing that. Are you a believer of that?
I am.
'Cause
I am.
I know I've heard somewhere saying, people had said that what we say, how we say it, with the words that we choose, tends to affect our overall health. Because if you look at, say for example, if you're looking at the word fat, right? They say, well, how do you get the word? Because you got to spell it out. So within the spelling, you're casting a spell on yourself already, and that's how the body and mind start to believe it, even if you're saying it in jest or in jest or just as just a passing comment.
Right.
After a while, your own body starts to believe what you're saying. Now, when you mentioned earlier right now, a lot of it also depends on how you sleep or your exercise. What would you recommend to people? If they want to start making a change, how much or what's a minimum amount of sleep somebody should get? And is there a minimum amount of exercise somebody should do to kind of start going down the right path?
Yeah, for sure. Just health is so nuanced, and so is nutrition. And so, again, it's very individualized. And to me, it's all about progress versus perfection and meeting those quote unquote idealistic standards that are set up through, whether it's the American Heart Association, the Dietetic Association, like all of those organizations, right? Tell us how many servings of fruits and veggies we should get each day and how many hours of sleep and water, etc. Right? Yeah. Which I feel like can put a lot of pressure on somebody, especially if they're just on a new journey to health and wellness. and yet they're here, having to put food on the table, work a certain amount of jobs, and
Right.
just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Right. In this crazy times right now. But so again, focusing on progress, they say the ideal, right, is like 6 to 9 hours of sleep a day.
Right.
And so I have people that get like 5 hours, and to them, 5 to 6 hours, they're functioning and they're okay.
Yep.
They've been used to that way because of their maybe line of work, where they were a firefighter, or they were working graveyard shifts,
Yeah,
or
they
they
got
were
the
a truck
night
driver.
Yeah, the shift
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. And so their circadian rhythm has been, I guess, like out
Completely thrown off.
yeah, exactly, and so it takes kind of that time, and then say they change shifts or they change jobs, and it's like a whole new adjustment, right? And so to me, I feel like it's really important to bring it back to you as the person, the individual, not so much focusing on, yes, it's nice to have like standards or what the recommendations are, but at the same time, like, come back to yourself. What's realistic? What are some small things you can do to help in your lifestyle that are within your control to have better sleep? Is it like putting your phone down or leaving it in another room so you're not taking it into the room with you and scrolling social media?
Right.
Having this racing brain of thoughts keeping you up at night, feeling anxious or worried about the next day or whatever. Is it like setting your alarm? Is it cutting off eating at a certain amount of time of day because you're going to be waking up with indigestion, heartburn, going to the bathroom, So finding little tweaks in their lifestyle to adjust so they can have better sleep quality. Because sometimes it's the quality, not necessarily how many hours they're sleeping, right? Like the REM sleep. So that's what I find is when we make little adjustments in their lifestyle, bringing in meditation, bringing in deep breath work, to help calm the body, the nervous system, that they have better quality of sleep. And of course, this takes time, obviously, right?
Yeah, you can't do it overnight.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so that's the one thing. And then what was
With
the
the
other
exercise.
one? Movement? Yeah, with the exercise. Yeah. Again, starting small. Starting small. I used to be a huge gym rat. I was in that gym for hours,
Right.
1 to 2 hours, pre-motherhood, obviously. Gym in the morning, weight training in the morning, yoga in the afternoon after work, right? And then now becoming a mom, having 3 kids. My son's 8. My girls are 2.5 twins. I work from home. It's like busy. And my husband has his own job doing landscaping.
Right.
And, I have my mother-in-law who helps too, and my mom. Thankfully, I'm very blessed. They help me out. So for me, I'm very busy, and I have 2 jobs as well. Like I have doing virtual coaching and nutrition counseling.
Right.
So the link's on my Instagram if anyone wants to work with me. But so anyway, and I have the podcast, I have the YouTube channel.
Right.
There's lots of projects, and studying herbalism. I have lots of things that it does become difficult to find movement in my day.
Right.
And so depending on your schedule, depending on your time, right, is really where we want to figure out a plan. How can you start integrating movement into your day? If you're super busy behind the desk, sitting most of the day, how can you find breaks throughout your day to get up and move,
Right.
to stretch, to go take a few steps around the building or during your lunch break? So for me, and for a lot of people that I find that I work with, when they're barely getting into moving their body more, they already want to jump to like the gym. I'm going to go get a gym membership.
Right.
I'm going to go out and do this like formal exercise. Hey, yeah, that sounds great. But what if, first of all, we slow down and if that becomes kind of like a higher expectation based off of their circumstances, it's like, well, what if you can get some movement into your everyday activities, parking farther away, taking the stairs more often, taking smaller walk breaks, or body weight exercises like from my mom's. It's like how we use our kids to use them as resistance exercises,
Right.
or just daily things like that. So I usually encourage people, like, if we want to get our exercise in, it's encouraged. Like the steps, for example. It used to be set that people should aim for 10,000 steps a day.
Right.
And so I have a lot of people that feel really discouraged when they don't meet that, or it wasn't enough or anything like that, or they're trying to do 15,000. That's
Right.
like 5 to 10 miles. You know what I mean? And those high expectations, and then now it's like 7,000 or something like that. So if we just first look at our own day, getting an idea of what your actual daily living activity is like, reflect on that, how much of your day is sitting?
Right.
How much of it is it being active? Is it doing yard work? Is it washing the car? Is it, that all counts.
Yeah.
So I would say take a look at what your daily living activity is like. What could you do within your control in your environment that can keep you moving? It doesn't always have to be in a gym.
Right.
And so that's what I would say.
Okay. So I know one of the things that you're talking about that you have your YouTube channel that you're doing meditation now. What's well, first of all, let people know what the handle is so they could get that. Second of all, for somebody, because I've always wanted to get into meditation, I just don't know what I'm doing or how to do it, or like, do you go and like from your first videos, are you teaching somebody how to do it, or what's the
Good question.
or like how to get into it?
Yeah.
Because like I have no idea, but I've always wanted to do it because like I want to. Because I got a lot of crazy screws out here, and I want to kind of calm that down because sometimes I just trip myself out. Like, talk to me about your meditation with the YouTube channel that you have.
Yeah, sure. So it's called Mindful Meditations with Marissa. I just started it this year, the same week that my grandma passed away, actually. I had been wanting to do it for a while, for a couple of years, because it's what helped me. Listening to guided meditations when I was pregnant really helped me feel calm, soothe my fears, my worries. I had several miscarriages and pregnancy losses. So for me, I found a lot of comfort in that. I found a way to regain my faith and calm my mind and just feel confident and just be kind of neutral and like everything's going to be okay. So I always felt like, okay, if there was one that I listened to and I'm like, oh, I would rather do it this way, for example.
Okay.
That's when I was like, oh, I want to create one. I could create one too, but it didn't happen until, I guess, what was it? 3 years later, 4 years later, like I said, when my grandma passed away. And I just kind of got this message, start it now, just start it now. And so I started it. And so basically what I'm doing on these is it's a guided meditation. So I have music in the background. I'm guiding you to tune into your breath, to using this sometimes could be like as far as like how long to inhale, how long to exhale, using your senses. So we're bringing in your senses. So I will guide you to, okay, listen, for example, as you're breathing and noticing your chest rise and flow, your body, fall, rise and fall, feeling the air through your nostrils. So really it's about helping you to come into the present moment so that way you can just start with your senses. So what do you hear? What do you smell? Is there anything inside your mouth, a taste that's lingering? And anything to kind of help us come to that present moment. So that's what I do is I help the individual tune into their breath, tune into their senses, and whatever thoughts arise.
Right.
They're going to come up and we're just letting them flow. And so for me, I feel like guided meditations are really helpful to help us come back, away from the mental chatter and to come back to the guided meditation. And so there's things that I'll, for example, like a body scan where I'll take you through a visualization. So it's a lot of visualization also.
Okay.
Where you're kind of just, scanning your body visually, releasing tension and things like that. So that's how I do my guided meditations. I bring in energy healing. So what that means is like, it can mean different things for everybody.
Right.
But basically, I like with the visualizations in terms of light, I like to bring that into my meditation where I have the person visualize a light, whether it's a white light or rainbow light, a pink light, whatever, a healing light from a higher power, whoever they want to think about or visualize. And it's scanning their whole entire body and clearing away releasing any stress or just helping them become more aware of how they're feeling in their body. And so it's not to like, how could we say, quote unquote, fix or like get rid of any kind of painful or anything like that feelings or anything like that, but it's really to help kind of acknowledge that, right? Instead of pushing them down, like we have a tendency to push our fears or push our emotions down. It's like, okay, welcoming them and acknowledging that they're there and just breathing through it. So that way, that's part of emotional intelligence and resilience, right?
Okay.
And so I kind of bring all of that together in the meditations. And so for new people, I would just say, there's so many ways of meditation that we can do into our daily life.
Yeah.
It can be while we're at the kitchen and maybe we don't have the TV on, but we have the music and we're just cutting our fruits and our vegetables and we're just focused on that, hearing the sound of the knife on the cutting board, tuning into the sounds around you. It could be while you're like stirring your pot and smelling the aroma. So it's again using your senses to come in the present moment. Just taking a deep breath to smelling those herbs or smelling the seasonings you're using, right time to get a feel for that.
Right.
Or when you're sitting eating your meal, just looking at it and just tasting the flavors. It could be, well, maybe you're out on a walk or you're out with your kids and you're coaching or whatever, and then
Right.
you're like taking a moment to feel like the breeze or the cool air. Just noticing little subtle things like that. I feel like that is a form of meditation that is opening the door
Okay.
for you to kind of experience maybe longer meditations of where people have a like misconception of like people sitting in a lotus like,
Yes.
in this position.
Seeing God,
Yeah,
meeting God.
exactly.
Are you do you, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think about right now. What's your take on float spas?
I've always wanted to do one, actually. I know there's one in El Paso.
Yeah. So a friend of mine used to own a float spa for the,
Was it on the east side?
yeah, it was
Okay.
down here by,
Trevino or something like
off
that?
of Litrevino
Yeah.
by, yeah, his name was Rob. It was used to be somewhere close to, behind the Home Depot
It's
in
not open anymore?
Litrevino. No, I believe he shut it down.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, so so the senseless deprivation chamber is what it was. It's fucking crazy. Because
bet.
the first time you're doing it, because you're so you're butt ass naked in
Yeah.
a,
In the water.
the first one that he had was a coffin, like, so yeah, you're in the water. And it's about like maybe 4 inches of water that you're floating in, and you're in there for an hour. And the first time you do it, it seems like you're in there for 7 days. Like it's because you're trying to keep. It's so wild because you're trying to. You feel like you're gonna like roll over while you're
like
while
a
you're
shock.
doing it. Yeah. So you like you can't like you, even though you know you're not gonna drown, you feel like you're gonna drown because you can't see anything.
Yeah.
But the second time, once you get the flow of it, when you do it when I did it the second time, it felt like if it was 5 minutes. Like
Oh, it's
the
faster.
hour fucking
Yeah,
flew.
it
Like
can go
you
fast.
you see colors. You see
Yes, you can
you
see
see all
colors.
kinds of crazy
Did
shit.
you receive any guidance while you were in there?
No, if I did, I had no
Marissa.
idea. No, I was just too busy tripping on the colors, and I was just
That's
like,
energy healing too. That can happen in energy
Really?
healing. Yeah.
dude,
get that
there's
a
so
lot.
much more I want to get into. Which,
Yeah, we totally should do another
but
interview.
yeah, but
another podcast.
I know you're pressed for time right now because
No,
it's
no, it's
kind of.
okay.
So I don't want to go too much into it, but before we go further, I really want you to let people know that I know you have your pod that we talked about, a mother's journey to holistic and health and healing. Then you have the YouTube videos, because I really want to see what's the simplest way for somebody to learn how to start just a simple meditation besides just the chopping, like
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
like what's the easiest way? Is it, do you start with just sitting somewhere for 2 minutes,
Yeah.
for 5 minutes, or what's the easiest way for us to start?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, you kind of answered your own question there. And it's simply just starting with the few minutes that you have available to do, right?
Yeah.
It's gradually building up the capacity.
Okay.
So, whether it's kind of thinking about when do you have that most, when is your energy the best and the highest, right? Is it when you wake up in the morning and you're like, okay, let me before I get out of my bed and onto the to-do list and the things to do, is it putting on some music and, I don't know, listening to that
Yeah.
for 5 minutes, or whether it's saying a prayer or just, I always like to, not just myself personally, but also when I'm working with patients and everybody is like, especially as busy moms, is like taking a moment to expressing gratitude. Thank you for this day, another day of life. Thank you for my body. Thank you for whatever. Just thank you,
Right.
thank you. Right. Even just another really powerful one is waking up with the morning sun, and it doesn't have to be going outside. It can just be going to your closest window facing the east, receiving the medicine of the sunlight, and just basking in that and letting that healing light just flow through you.
Yeah.
And quietly, for, like I said, however many minutes you can, and just receiving that and just in stillness and quiet. Maybe it's like on a work break. Maybe you're in the car before you head home, or you're just going to sit for a few minutes to just focus on your breath and breathe in and out. There's going to be thoughts, just let them pass
Right.
in and out. Maybe you do a quick guided meditation. There are some that are 5 minutes, there are 10 minutes. There's tons of apps, but I like to tell people, don't get too caught up in the apps or looking for,
Right.
that part of the process is looking for what works for you.
The right one.
Yeah, you want to have like I think of it as a toolbox. A toolbox where we have all these different for whatever amount of time that we have. Like we have short meditations, we have longer meditations. What do you have the capacity for? What do you have the time for? And if we're new to it, sometimes it's just tuning into the breath, noticing your belly up and down, putting your hand there, putting your hand on your chest, tuning into the airflow in and out of your nose, and just breathing like a normal breath.
Yeah,
for a few minutes.
My biggest worry is that if I start doing that, I'm gonna fall asleep.
And that happens at bedtime too, right?
Yeah,
Or even
because that's a lot of the time, and that's a lot of the
Exactly.
ways that they teach you. What is it, the 5-3-6 method or whatever it is for breathing, and
yeah, there's a bunch
that's
of them.
my biggest worry is that I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna just end up passing out, and it's not.
Yeah, and that's
not
okay.
gonna be able to do it.
And that's okay at first, right? Is because like your body's relaxing, so that's telling you something that's good. That's your body's way of calming down and relaxing. But if you notice that pattern, maybe it's okay. I'll do it in the morning or in the afternoon when I'm more awake, right? Versus in the evening time. And if you want to build that muscle, because it's just like a skill,
like
it's a
working out,
muscle.
right.
Yeah, we just got to practice it and build it. So for anyone who can't sit still for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it's okay. It just takes time and practice and patience, and it's not about perfection. And, you stick with it, you receive so much, there's so much beauty that comes from it, and resilience and our capacity mentally, physically, emotionally. There's just so many great things I could say about it. But what's important too is that it doesn't have to always look a certain way.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's different for everybody. Just like dieting, it's whatever works for your body or body type. All right, like I said, I know I got to get you out of here as quick as I can.
Okay, we're doing good. We're doing okay.
We're good. Okay,
Yeah.
So like I said, we could probably do like a 4-hour podcast
For
because
sure.
there's
so much to talk about.
Yeah, there's so much out there.
Yeah.
But before we conclude this one, like I said, I don't want to keep you from your kids because I know you got 2-year-olds, twins, and I know how twins are. Yeah,
They are cray. They are full of energy, but you know what? Like, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh no.
They're all a blessing. They are so full of energy.
Yeah.
And though I have like want to pull my hair out sometimes, it's now like with the skills that I have, with everything that I've learned, and I practice, I'm much better able to manage or handle the situation in a way where I can feel good about it, where it's calm, where it's like, and of course, nobody's perfect, right? I'm going to have those months, but it's also taking a step back, like building that resilience to the craziness, to the, to motherhood, to parenthood, really, and all for all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then before we go ahead and call it a day, we're going to do our new segment called 10 Shots, No Chaser. This is the holistic edition. So basically, the way it works, like I said, question coming out to you, first thing that comes to your mind,
Gosh, okay.
just throw it out
Nervous.
there. Yeah. So I'm not. Usually, I would try to come up with some crazy off the wall, but I'm gonna try to keep it more
I don't have time to
holistic.
Google.
Yeah,
Hey.
I'm gonna keep it more holistic this time and more eccentric to what we're talking about.
Okay.
So. Question 1, if someone's life is a mess, what's the first thing you make them fix? Mind, diet, or energy? And why?
Energy.
And why?
Because that to me is how we move throughout our day, how we interact, our actions, what we're able to do and not do. And so when I'm working with somebody, whether it's like they're really anxious and have this energy, what's the outlet to help them stabilize that, to feel grounded? How can we help them feel grounded? And if it's someone with lower energy, what do we need to change and work on to help them uplift their energy, whether it's in their nutrition or in their movements, a practice, a time to who they're surrounding themselves with too, because that has an impact on our energy too.
Okay. All right. What's one healthy habit everyone swears by that you think is complete bullshit?
Oh man, that's a good one. I guess I would say supplements.
Supplements?
Yeah.
Supplements as far as like the vitamins?
I think
or like
all of it, because there's like supplements for everything, right?
Yeah.
Vitamins, I mean, beauty care, hair care, like weight training, like everything.
Okay.
And I just feel like we have other resources, there's other things we can do, and That's a shitload of money too.
Yeah, that's where all the money's at. What's the biggest lie the wellness industry pushes that you wish more people woke up to?
That weight equals health.
Facts. If someone only had 10 minutes a day to improve their life, what should they do with no excuses?
Spend some time outside.
Outside?
Yeah.
You're big on grounding?
I mean, I do it when I can, like full grounding my feet in the earth.
Yes.
So we have like this little space in my front yard that has grass, and it just grew magically. And then we have another pair of like turf. Yeah, it just appeared, like, you know, just like my little marigolds appeared. And so I use that sometimes, or in the back in the dirt. But a lot of the times it's just, there's a little park nearby my home, and so it's getting out in the morning and just walking around that real quick if I can. And if I can take my shoes off, cool. And if not, at least
You're out there.
Yeah.
All right. What food do people think is healthy, but in your opinion is guilty as hell?
Darn. Let's see if nothing's coming to my mind. Let me see what I think is. Oof. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I guess I would say nothing's coming to me. Okay, yeah. Now one comes to me.
Okay.
Something gluten-free. Like if it's gluten-free bread, gluten-free pasta, gluten-free something.
It's gluten-free bullshit is what it is. What's one trauma or emotional wound you see most people carrying around without even knowing?
Yeah. Something from their childhood.
Yeah. You meet someone who says they've tried every diet. What's the real issue 90% of the time?
I feel like self-worth.
Okay.
For me, and I'm speaking from personal experience, but also a lot of women that I've worked with, and people actually in general,
Right.
self-worth.
Okay. Did you ever hit rock bottom in your own health journey, and what snapped you out of it?
Yeah. During my bodybuilding days. My bodybuilding days after competition. I don't know if it was after my second one. I had insomnia. So I was not sleeping well. I was overtraining. I didn't have my menstrual cycle.
Okay.
So my body fat percentage got too low. My hormones were all over the place. I had mood swings. I had a disordered relationship with food, meaning like if I ate something, I'd have to burn it off quickly and right away. So I had a lot of food guilt and a lot of shame around that. Food fears. And mentally, like, and emotionally, it just really screwed me over. And that to me is my rock bottom, because if there was any family celebrations, everybody complimented me on it when I would bring my food.
Right.
Oh, Marissa, you're so dedicated, you're so strict, and you're so disciplined. If I went to the gym to hit my weight training session instead of going to an event or my nephew's game or whatever, you're so dedicated. How can you always stick with it? And I was missing out on family and being social, right? Yeah. So I also was withdrawing myself too.
So what snapped you out of it?
One day, I know the exact moment. I was renting an apartment with my husband back then. Obviously he was my boyfriend back then. And one day he was just like, "What are you doing?" I was meal prepping my food. I always weighed my food, measured it, prepped it, had everything for the week. And one day he just asked me, like, flat out, "What are you doing?" And it was just those simple 3 words where I was like it woke me up. What am I doing? You're going down a rabbit hole. Like, you're having all these issues. I was an autopilot for such a long time. And so that woke me up. I stopped training in bodybuilding. I got deeper into my yoga practice, gradually into my meditation practice. And that's a whole other episode. When I went vegan and I went down perfectionism and all of those things, veganism and my meditation practice. But that's how it started, was my yoga practice just kind of helped me to become more aware.
Okay.
And that started my journey. Yeah.
Okay. Second and last one. If you could ban one ingredient from the grocery store forever, what's getting kicked out? I know they're already doing the red dye.
Yeah, they're doing the dyes. A lot of the dyes, right? Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. It's hard to say. I feel like I mean, high fructose corn syrup is one of them. So I guess that would be one, because I know there's certain ones that are in processed foods and they're there for obviously for preservation, right? And can serve a purpose, especially for people, whether it's for convenience or because of the financial situation, low income. And so I know there are some out there that are safe. And so there are some studies that make it seem like they're not, like, right. So I don't know which ones those are specifically, but I know there's certain people you can find on Instagram. I don't remember their names at the top of my head. But for me, I guess I would say high fructose corn syrup.
Okay. The last one, if you could give the audience one life reset button, what would it be and why?
A life reset button?
Yeah. Like something that they could hit to reset and just start from scratch again. What would it be and why?
That's fun. That's a good question. It's like a reset of everything we've been programmed. Just thinking about it gets me emotional. I'm just going to let the emotions rise because I feel like a lot of messages that are out there, especially for us young, for the children, and for us as adults, it's a lot of stress, unnecessary stress and pressure to parent a certain way, look a certain way, dress a certain way, all the expectations, how to do things, how to keep us trapped in limited thinking and not being in more community and not being closer to maybe our culture, our traditions, or welcoming our foods, connecting more with the Mother Earth and nature in simple ways, traditional music, food. Like, I feel we get disconnected from a lot of these heavy messages. And so that would be my one reset, is that let's just see everybody as human. We're all from the same planet. Like, we're here. We're different colors. Yes, we're different shapes and everything. But we reset, like, we're all equal. We're all one, like they say.
Right.
And can we treat, like, everyone's going to have their differences, obviously. But it's coming back to, like, ourself. And I feel this is where spiritual work comes in, of, like, deepening our relationship with ourselves to get to a place of acceptance, where we accept our dark parts of ourselves and our the light of ourselves.
Right.
And so to me, that would be a reset of resetting all the bullshit that we've been programmed and lied to, and it takes time to unravel and question. So that way you can create your own truth, what you want to believe, what's in alignment with your values. And so that would be my reset. It's a lot, but that kind of.
Hey, that like I said, everybody has their own truth, and that's their truth. And you know what? There's a lot of people that agree with you. I being one of them. Marissa, I really appreciate the time you've taken.
I was excited to be here. Thank you.
Hey, it was great. It was a lot. Like I said, we could go out for 4 hours, but I know people got things to do, and I know you got things to do. The podcast that you have, A Mother's Journey to Holistic Health and Healing. Let the people know again, where can they reach you if they want to get in touch with you and get a hold of everything that you do? Where can they find you, and where can they get the most knowledge from you?
I'm trying to
dry
off my tears.
I know, that's why I'm trying to extend that I'm trying to extend that intro a little bit outro a little bit longer.
Funny, this emotion, just trying to welcome it. That's really interesting. I'm gonna have to reflect on this later. So you can just go to my Instagram. It's at Holistic Health Coaching for Moms, and there's a link there if you want to work with me. If you have insurance, you can apply to work with me through Nourish. Nourish is the company that I work for nutrition counseling. Again, it's not just nutrition; it's holistic health coaching. And then also energy healing. So this is also a part of. I practice energy healing on myself, or you want to call it limpias or whatever you want to call them, for me and my family. And so I'm, along with practicing herbalism and learning about it, I'm in my beginner stages of offering those services too. So if anyone wants to, in El Paso area, obviously, wants distance energy healing like that, they can reach me there. They can send me a DM. And then you can check out my YouTube channel for meditations. It's mindful meditations with Marissa.
Beautiful. So I appreciate you coming through.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate the energy that you've given off, the information you've given to people. I apologize for the emotional roller coaster that certain things are, but this is
That was great. No,
but this is what we go through, right?
Yes.
And one thing that I've learned, if somebody gets emotional about a certain topic or a certain way of belief, and they're teaching things within that belief, that just means that you're that invested, and I appreciate you for doing that. And I can't wait to get on that YouTube page and try to learn to see if I could do the meditation without passing the falling asleep.
Try it out. Let me know what you think. Yeah.
But the I have a feeling if you're going to be guiding me, the tone of your voice is it's because it's very soothing, and it's very
thank
like
you. That's so funny because my husband's like, what do you say? Oh, because he doesn't listen to them, right? He's like, I just don't know how I would feel about hearing your voice that way because I don't hear it like that. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm not gonna be talking like that natural and like on normal days, but for him it's like different. So he's like, maybe later I'll try it because he's be more open to meditation and doing meditation on his own too. And so, but yeah, he's just like, I don't know if I would be respond to that. Yeah.
No, it's different.
Check it out.
So before we head out, any last words for anybody that's listening?
No, I just hope everybody, wish you all take care. And I know it's a lot. It can be very overwhelming when we want to make changes in our health and our wellness and make so many changes all at once. But I would just encourage you to kind of tune into yourself. It has diet culture, wellness culture, all those messages have a way of confusing us and creating self-doubt within us. And so you have the answers within you. Like, what you should quote unquote do. And so sometimes it's just take some time to like get support or clarity and what steps to take. So I would just say start by taking small steps.
Baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps.
Baby steps in everything we do, guys. Again, that's Marissa, the health, holistic. Oh, sorry, I gotta make sure I get this right. Holistic health coaching for moms. Her podcast is out there. Her YouTube. I mean, her TED Talk's gonna be coming pretty soon. All that good stuff, guys. I appreciate you again taking the time. Make sure you guys tune in, follow her, ask her questions. I'm sure she's got a wealth of knowledge, guys. Till next time, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, everybody make sure peace, love, and stay grounded.
All right.